Good evening and welcome to Nationwide, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Ayodeji Makinde with the news. Security agencies in the country are stepping up efforts to rescue the missing students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, from their abductors. While these efforts subsist, activities within GSSS, Kankara and other schools in neighboring communities have substantially come to a halt following a directive by the Katsina State government for the schools to shut down. Some parents of the missing students of GSSS, Kankara, have been seen in clusters within the premises, clearly disturbed over the occurrence and perhaps seeking latest briefings on their rescue. A total of 316 students are still missing after 17 of them escaped from their abductors some days ago. 333 students of the all-boys boarding school in Kankara, Katsina State were initially reported to have been missing following an attack on the school by armed bandits 6 days ago. In the meantime, some parents of the missing students from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, have expressed optimism on their rescue as they strive to jubilate with those currently rejoicing over the return of their wards. 4 of the jubilant parents have released pictures of their children and their identities. Mujaid Abdul Hamid is one of the 17 students who escaped on Tuesday and has since reunited with his family. Zaharuddin Umar, Aliyu Abubakar and Abdul Ghaffar Motala are also part of the group that made their escape on Tuesday and found their way home to their loved ones. For more on this, Major General John Enenche, Coordinator Defense Media Operations, joins me in the studio. I also have the Special Advisor, who might not be joining at the moment right now from Katsina, but Major General John Enenche joins me in the studio. Let's start with you, Major General. Can you confirm whether or not the location of the abducted students is known for sure? And what can you tell us for certain on the rescue operation?
Yes, thank you very much for the kind of question you have asked. To respond to it, I have to be very careful in the overall interest of the safety of our children in captivity and then for the success of the rescue operation that must be done. Well, because it has implications. People, the criminals out there, call them bandits, insurgents, terrorists. To an extent, one should not count on whatever they say or whatever the promises they make through other sources as 100% and completely reliable. So we have to be careful. And they are also very sensitive and could be smart sometimes that our utterances may make them to have change of mind and motives and whatever they are doing. But what I will assure the general public and the parents is that we have been tracking based on information that we got as far back as Sunday when the Honorable Minister of Defense was there with the service chiefs. I was privileged to be part of that team. We got the briefings and we have been following consistently. And I can assure that we, to a large extent, have assurances that they will be rescued from wherever they have been kept. And that is the best way now for me to respond, begging for your patience. If I tell you that these are the coordinates of where they are, of course, the people out there, our enemies, may not be too comfortable. I'm not even supposed to have said this, but I want you for once to believe, if not for as it were, that your armed forces are out there and we are in positions and locations to ensure that we get the children out safely. It is based on that it is not safe for us, or for me rather, to tell you that this is a specific location where they are.
As Nigerians are believing in the efforts by the army, can you confirm if you're seeking any assistance from security outfits outside of Nigeria on this particular rescue mission?
No.
Why is this so?
Well, it is so because that means you're going to lose the sovereignty, you are going to lose the confidentiality, the reliability of what is within your own area of operations. So it is not what is beyond us. All we need, and we are getting to a large extent, is the intelligence of which we are getting, and then the cooperation from the locals, and that is all that you need. For a rescue operation, you don't need missiles, you don't need supersonic aircrafts. All you need is the equipment that we have and the training that we have suffices for us to be able to rescue the children with all the stakeholders cooperating. The government is cooperating a lot, and then the contacts they are making, the people that are giving us the information, they are all there. So, and it is not as it is now. I think in the best interest of everybody to begin to get other boots from elsewhere to put on the ground to get your children out.
All right, now, can you tell us the ambience in Kankara at the moment and what efforts are currently underway to assuage and assure parents and residents of safety?
Yeah, the operations in Katsina State as a whole, into a larger extent, like the Operation Katsina, Operation Accord, all of them are still on. All the subsidiary operations are still on. And then, of course, what happens is that the deployment around Kankara has been beefed up and intensified. And I can assure that the farm patrols, the confidence building patrols, and all the other operations are still on. And even as I speak, up to this morning, we have good reports and successes in other areas where we have deleted some bandits who went for cattle rustling and others who went to see kidnap, one or two like that. We handle them appropriately. So I can assure that the security of lives and property, as it were, is still being sustained in the whole of that general area.
Can you talk more about what could be done in collaborative basis by state, federal and private sector to improve security in Katsina State and its environs in the immediate and also in the long term? Yeah,
in the immediate, the measures that the state government has put in place is very okay. And in the sense that as it were on that particular day, I think the State Executive Council met, came up with a resolution, and which is okay by, advising and requesting the police to beef up security at the various schools, which they have done. We are made to understand that they used to have 2 of armed policemen to support all local guards there, but that has been increased substantially. I won't want to mention the number here because it's not in the best interest of those that have been protected. And it is also good because there is a safe school initiative which can be reviewed by all the stakeholders. Of course, it's not a military affair alone. And when they say safe school initiative like we have in Chibok, where we have a detachment of the military, particularly the army deployed there, and it is based on the agreement by the locals, by the local authorities, by all other stakeholders like international organizations. We come together and do that. Yes, that can be done, and it's a possibility, and it's feasible. And once that is done, it can be replicated all over to ensure that we pass through this stage of our national challenge of security of schools.
Major General John Enenche, Coordinator Defense Media Operations, would like to thank you for coming on Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Right. Let's move on the news and tell you that the 13th Brigade of the Nigerian Army has handed over 14 suspected criminals to the Cross River State Police Command in an effort to curb criminality in the state. The suspects arrested by Operation Akpaku, inaugurated by Governor Ben Ayade, include 13 males and a female. Achibong Bassi has details.
The mandate of Operation Apako, a security outfit set up by the Cross River State government to rid the state of criminal elements, is already yielding expected results. Some of the 14 suspects arrested at various locations have confessed to be either members of a robbery or a kidnap gang. Handing over the suspects on behalf of the Commander 13 Brigade, the officer commanding 13 Brigade Military Police, Major Samuel Pelola, says the police is expected to carry out further investigation and possible prosecution.
They were celebrating birthday on that altar.
Buhari turns 78. Congratulatory messages have been pouring in from individuals and organizations extolling the exemplary virtues and leadership skills of the Nigerian leader. Here is a compilation of the messages by Elizabeth Omorui.
President of the Senate, Hamad Lawan, felicitates with President Muhammadu Buhari on his 78th birthday. Senator Lawan, in a message, says he joins family members, friends, and associates of the president in rejoicing with him, clocking 78 in good health. He said the president, in his service to the nation, has shown undeniable commitment to the unity, peace, and even development of Nigeria. As the president celebrates, Senator Lawan urges Nigerians to continue to stand with the president. Also sends birthday wishes to President Muhammadu Buhari, applauding his commitment to a better Nigeria for the good of the citizens. Being the leader of a great party, the APC, Gbajabiamila said, President Buhari redefined selfless service through humility and dedication. Similarly, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, joins Nigerians in celebrating the efforts of the president in moving Nigeria forward and finding solutions to the long-standing issues that have faced the nation. Bola Tinubu prays for more prosperous years for the APC party leader as he turns 78. Still on birthday wishes, the Progressive Governors Forum sends warm greetings to President Muhammadu Buhari on the occasion of his 78th birthday. In a statement, Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, commended President Muhammadu Buhari's leadership, vision and commitment to a united, prosperous Nigeria. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NT News.
And still in the spirit of felicitation, the Federal Executive Council has extended warm greetings to President Muhammadu Buhari on the occasion of his 78th birthday. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, on behalf of members of FEC, appreciated the Almighty God for endowing the President with wisdom and good health to steer the ship of the Nigerian state. Members of the nation's highest decision-making body also commended the president for consistently providing visionary leadership, especially at this time when the nation, and indeed nations of the world, need purposeful and focused leadership. They prayed that under President Buhari's leadership, Nigeria shall continue to enjoy stability, remain united and indivisible, while wishing the president many happy returns and God's abundant grace. The Supreme Court has fixed March 12, 2021 for judgment in the appeal filed by former Plateau State Governor Senator Joshua Dariye, challenging his conviction and jail sentence. The 10-year jail term handed to him by the High Court was affirmed by the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division. The Apex Court chose the date after lawyers representing the parties had adopted their final addresses. Dariye, in his appeal, is praying the Supreme Court to upturn the November 16, 2018 judgment affirmed by the Appeal Court Abuja, which upheld a June 12, 2018 FCT High Court judgment convicting him for diverting public funds valued at 1.1 billion naira while he was the state governor in Plateau State. Let's head to Lagos, where Michael Olaleye is standing by with some reports for us on Nationwide. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Ayodeji. Again, Lagos State recorded another gas leakage. Punch newspaper's headquarters in Berger. Reports from emergency responders indicated that the damage was caused by the Julius Berger crew working on the road. Proactive response by the emergency management agencies saved the day and the pipeline successfully shut down. What is the situation at the site presently? Joining us in the studio is the Acting Coordinator, National Emergency Management Agency, Lagos Territorial Office, Ibrahim Farinloye. Glad to have you on Nationwide.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, what is the current situation as regards the leakage site?
Well, the leakage has been stopped since yesterday with the effort of various agencies, especially the state fire service, who put out and the safety unit of the Nigerian gas marketing company, along with other responding agencies, especially NEMA, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigerian Civil Defense. For all of us, we responded and saved the day. As at now, the leakage around 12:30 p.m. yesterday, the leakage has been stopped, and we did what we call damping to make the whole environment cooler than when it was heated up by the leakages and the clearing of the gas that was there. So after that, we made sure everything was cordoned off till this morning. So as at this morning, the company that have been mobilized to carry out repairs have moved into site, and the repairs work have started.
Now, what is this again telling us? What is it telling all of us in terms of proactiveness to issues of disaster?
Come in again.
What is this telling us? What is the lesson this is actually telling us?
Well, the lesson we can deduce from this is just like the characteristical attitude of many Nigerians. You know, like this pipeline has a lot of right of way. Apart from the right of way that was clearly indicated, the signage on that right of way warned against intrusion, especially excavation around that area or wholesome activities around that area will expose the pipeline and anybody around that area into serious danger. The signage was conspicuous, and the point of the leakage where the tractor which caused the leakage is just less than 2 meters to the point of to the line signage which was erected years ago. So we should be very, very cautious, not just take anything into anything that maybe something may not happen, or if it happens, it won't have much effect. So the lackadaisical unsafe attitude, the unsafe activities of Nigerians should be discouraged by every one of us. If Nigerians, especially residents...
Thank you, Mr. Farinloye. As much as we would like to go further, Mr. Farinloye, as much as we would like to go further, time won't permit us. That's Ibrahim Farinloye, the Acting Coordinator, NEMO Territorial Office in Lagos. Now, moving forward, the Controller General of Customs Strike Force Team Zone A has intercepted contrabands and raised income on underdeclared cargo worth 1.5 billion naira within 2 months. The seized items include more than 1,200 bags of foreign rice, which the coordinator, Ahmadu Bello Shuaibu, noted are impediments to the country's quest for economic growth. Intelligence gathering and surveillance strategy are assisting the Nigerian Customs Service in fulfilling its mandate of nipping smuggling in the bud. These tactics led to the seizure of these 30,256 pieces of foreign bags with duty-paid value of more than 500 million naira. The items were recovered at a warehouse in Lagos after evading checks at the seaports.
We are out to ensure that restiveness is eliminated by doing, seizing this type of things, our youth will be employed so long as all efforts are geared towards local industries.
False declaration of items is a punishable offense in the anti-smuggling law. And to drive home this message, these 564 bales of textile materials were intercepted based on what the customs described as an attempt to compromise the payment of the actual duty fees.
I believe once these things are made dutiable, they will not even bring them in. So we have to send that message. We need honest declaration. Everybody should be nationalistic in thinking.
Achieving the seizure within 2 months is a feat the Comptroller General of Customs Strike Force Team Zone A insists will be backed up with rigorous compliance until the index shows a sharp decline in smuggling activities. A break beckons and Nationwide will return with Ayodeji in Abuja.
You're welcome back. Senate is considering a bill that seeks to establish a national tea and coffee development council in Nigeria. The bill, which has passed second reading, is primarily aimed at providing a national and coordinated approach towards the growing, processing and marketing of tea and coffee in Nigeria. The proposed law, when passed, is expected to create jobs and attract more revenue to the national treasury. Another bill that passed second reading is the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute Establishment Bill, which seeks to ensure stringent regulation of building design rules and materials. 5 bills passed first reading during plenary, including the Local Industry Patronage Bill, which seeks to provide for the mandatory patronage of made-in-Nigeria products. Senate has also confirmed 8 persons for appointment as members of the Governing Council of the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, with Joseph Taifa as chairman and Abubakar Ahmed Yawa as managing director. The House of Representatives is seeking alteration to some provisions of the Constitution pertaining to election of candidates to the offices of the President and state governors. The alteration seeks to address a defect in the Constitution in order to enable elected presidents and governors to retain their seats in circumstances where their running mates are found to have defects in submitted documents and qualifications. The sponsor of the bill, Representative Solomon Bob, while debating the general principles of the bill, pointed out that it is inconsistent and illogical for an elected president or governor to lose the seat as a result of perjury or forgery by his running mate. The bill passed second reading and was referred to the Constitution Review Committee for further legislative action. A summit on 2 decades of party politics and democracy in Nigeria has ended in Abuja, with a call for consideration of independent candidature in the nation's electoral system. Put together by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, the summit also seeks strong mechanism for internal democracy. Kelvin Ebonwaye reports.
2 decades of uninterrupted party politics and democracy in Nigeria, speakers at the summit agreed that the major challenge facing the nation's democracy is lack of internal democracy in almost all the major political parties, which is rubbing off on the quality of candidates being presented for elective positions. So, another look at the possibility of independent candidature is desirable.
Because if there is tyranny from the political parties, there is corruption, there is this, there is that. One of the ways to mitigate the effect of this is to have independent candidature.
Political parties can enhance their prospects by focusing on disadvantaged groups like women, the youth, and persons with disabilities. Such groups will undoubtedly provide a winning base over a long period.
The declining democratic tenets in the West African sub-region was also a concern for the summit, and believed that if Nigeria must lead the way, In reviving confidence in democracy, the nation's political parties should be the torchbearers.
The legal framework and as well as the constitutional provisions that will allow for an inclusive, free and fair participation of all citizens in the political and electoral process.
Outcomes from the summit are expected to be evaluated and infused into the curriculum of NIPS and also made available to political parties and other stakeholders. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has flagged off campaigns preparatory to the December 19th local government council's election. Emmanuel Akila reports that Governor Muhammadu Inwa Yahaya, who insists that votes must count, solicits the support of the electorate for APC candidates to sustain the positive change being witnessed in the state.
Party stalwarts and supporters of the APC at the Pantami Stadium chanting solidarity for victory in the local government council's election. Acting chairman of the APC in Gombe State, Nite Amangal, who presented flags to chairmanship candidates from the 11 local government areas of the state, charged them to be committed to victory at the polls come Saturday, the 19th of December 2020. Chairman of the State Campaign Council, Abubakar Muazu, and other movers and shakers of the APC encouraged the people of the state to vote for the APC to continue enjoying dividends of democracy, such as the Network 1100, Gombe Goes Green, improved water supply, and human capital development programs.
The Executive Governor of Gombe State, within the limited period he governed the state, he has done so much that the people have much confidence on APC.
The flag bearers from the 11 local government areas gave assurance of delivering on the mandate given to them, looking at the positive change being witnessed at the grassroots level across the state. Governor Muhammad Inwa Yahaya, who is bereaved and could not make it to the program, was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Njodi. The governor promised a free playing ground for all political parties with adequate security of life and property during the election, urging the people to vote for the APC for continuity with the transformation of the rural areas, which has been the cardinal objective of his administration. The campaigns will be flagged off in the local government areas where candidates for ward councillors will be presented to the people. Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Nigeria Customs intercepts arms. Amina in Kaduna will bring us details of these and other stories from our access.
Thanks, Ayodeji. Welcome to Kaduna. Schools in Kaduna State have closed following the state government's directive resulting from a spike in COVID-19 cases. Abdullahi Mohammed has a situation report.
Wednesday, 16th December 2020 was the deadline set for all public and private schools to close their doors. These caught up with many of the school students and pupils writing examination. But with the cases of COVID-19 skyrocketing across the state, some hurriedly finished while others shelved, all in line with meeting the deadline. Mixed reactions followed.
We believe when there is life, there is hope. But if you at the detriment of if you open your school at the detriment of the people, then you pay the price. I think all is okay because they should know why they say the school should be closed. So and it's best known to them. So as far as I'm concerned, I think there is just no room for argument. It's good the government have closed schools. We don't want to start suffering with our kids going to hospitals.
The students and teachers are not left arms folded. The government has an online and radio school to keep students and pupils learning at home.
We are doing e-learning. We are using radio and television stations in the whole of Kaduna to air different contents of different lessons to students. Private schools can also arrange for that. And we are not stopping their students from accessing what we are doing.
The state government has urged its citizens to adhere strictly to the COVID-19 protocols. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Community policing has been described as the effective way to go in combating the rising tide of crimes in Nigeria. This came to the fore during a one-day dialogue with stakeholders on the strategies towards implementing effective community policing organized by the Jigawa State Police Command. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
The dialogue, which attracted relevant people from all walks of life, put on table challenges to the implementation of effective community policing towards addressing the daunting security challenges threatening the unity and general progress of the country.
There's the need to bring the people and the police together so that together we can work and overcome the security challenges.
Police, which is the lead agency in the maintenance of internal security, is charged by stakeholders at the event to build public trust and allow for contributions from the members of the society while they operate to efficiently monitor crimes in the society. A resource person, Deputy Inspector General of Police retired, Salihu Hashim Argungu, observed that wrong process and procedures in the recruitment of police officers is responsible for injecting the wrong officers into the force who cannot deliver.
Community policy to work hand in hand with members of the community to achieve common objectives.
I would like an instruction to thank President Muhammadu Buhari, who approved the position of the IGP on community police, and also to thank the IGP for taking it serious and working, not talking.
Members of the Jigawa State Legislature, traditional institutions, civil society organizations, and vigilante groups in the state have all agreed that community participation will strengthen the nation's security. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTN News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Ayodeji in Abuja.
Thank you. The ad hoc Committee for the establishment of the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund has presented a report to the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Zubairu Dada. The report delivered is aimed at mobilizing for a strategic and productive means of ensuring a transparent and easy platform for diasporas to save funds. Ambassador Zubairu Dada called on Nigerians home and abroad to have confidence in the government of the day.
On behalf of the government of Nigeria, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of course, of which NIDCOM is a part, we wish to thank you most sincerely for this very, very wonderful job.
This Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund will be a positive revolution in the annals of our nation.
We took up this mandate as a national service and took it upon ourselves to do our best to produce a report based on global best practices, one that Nigeria will be proud of.
Other members of the ad hoc committee appealed to the government to adopt and implement the report while expressing appreciation for the opportunity to be part of the committee. The report was presented by the co-chairman of the committee, Ambassador Edward Sarki. For more reports, let's join Obehi in our studio in Benin.
Hello, Ayodeji. Many thanks for joining us in Benin. The Edo State government has launched a technology park that will see to the training of 15,000 youths in software engineering and other ICT programs within the next 4 years. Governor Godwin Obaseki, in his address during the launch in Government House, emphasized that the goal is to evolve a digital economy and government to the process of governance. Elizabeth Amoko reports.
Congratulations to Edo. Launching the Edo Tech, building the next of technical leaders, Governor Obaseki says his administration in the next 4 years is committed to making the state a soft technology outsourcing center in the country. The governor says the necessary infrastructure is already in place for the takeoff of the technology park in the state.
The Edo Park project is essentially for us to use the advantages we have created over the last 4 years to train and host in Edo State a minimum of 15,000 people in the next 4 years who will be software developers. And the opportunities will be open to all graduates of universities, polytechnics, wherever.
Chairman of the Partnering Technology Park, Chika Wilby, says the youths will be trained in a period of 6 months. This partnership is another effort of the state government to make Edo State a hub for investors. In Benin, Adugbeji Ojegba, NTA News.
Sincere apologies. The last report was presented by Adugbeji Ojegba. Moving on, the cases of a 70-year-old retired corporal from the Nigerian Army, Felix Adasa, who was allegedly brutalized and forcefully evicted from his house by an unknown army officer, was among the cases heard by the Edo State Judicial Panel of Inquiry this Thursday in Benin. Eugenia Ndubisi reports.
The petitioner Felix Adasa said he retired from the Nigerian Army in 1978. He told the panel that he had earlier reached agreement with his landlord to pay his 3 months house arrears when he receives his pension, but was surprised when the army officer identified as Lieutenant Colonel AA invaded his house on Saturday, 12th December 2020, and illegally evicted him from the apartment. The petitioner currently has no place of abode and has approached the panel for justice.
He's humiliated the way and manner his properties were bonded out of his property by the person who presented himself to be a member of the Nigerian Army.
Other matters before the panel this Wednesday include Patience Okundaye family versus 2 police officers, DPO Ogida Barras, CSP Tokwe and OC anti-kidnapping and courtesan CSP Balogun over allegation of human rights abuse, extortion and harassment by the respondents. However, the respondents failed to appear before the panel despite being served by the counsel to the police, Chukwuka Nnamdi. The panel adjourned the matter to 23rd December 2020 for the respondents to make appearance.
The witnesses we took yesterday, most of them were present during the time of the incident, so their evidence before us here is in support of what we have on the face of our petitions.
So far, about 30 cases have been reviewed and are awaiting recommendations to the state government. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Ayodeji is over to you now for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Obehi. 930 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 75,062 in Nigeria. Currently, the highest tally per day so far. These 930 new infections were recorded in 21 states and the FCT, out of which Lagos has 279. The FCT has 179, Plateau 62, Kaduna 54, Kano and Katsina 52 each, Imo and Jigawa have 42 each, Rivers 38, Kwara State has 30, Nasarawa 19, Yobe 15, Ogun 13, Borno 10, Oyo and Niger States confirmed 9 each, Ebonyi and Bauchi recorded 6 new cases each, Edo 5, Taraba 4, while Sokoto and Cross River have 2 new cases each. Lagos maintains lead on the cases per state chart with 25,436 cases, followed by the FCT with 8,908 cases. Next is Plateau State with 4,099 cases, while Kaduna has 4,098 cases. In total, some 7,087 cases are currently active across the country, while 66,775 recovered patients have been discharged, with 1,200 deaths on record. In the related developments, more prominent Nigerians have reported contracting COVID-19 as the second wave of the pandemic rages. The latest is the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, has contained in his tweet, and I quote, "I tested positive to COVID-19 and now in a holding facility undergoing treatment. May Allah heal all of us so afflicted wherever we may be." End of quotes. Well, at this moment, Dr. Safia Ouda-Ojo, a consultant family physician, has been monitoring the trend and joins us in the studio to speak more on the current spike in infections across the country. Welcome to Nationwide. I would agree with you that would you agree with me rather that those who strongly believe public disregard for guideline is the key factor responsible for the current spike in COVID-19 infections in Nigeria?
Yes, thanks for having me. Hello, Nigerians. The rise in COVID-19 cases that we are having now there's an upsurge, there is an increase in the incidence of COVID-19 cases now, and it's largely due to the fact that we are no longer doing the right thing. We are no longer doing the social distancing. We no longer follow the protocols as advised by the NCDC. So that is a major reason why we are having a rise. And we still know the symptoms of COVID. We know it's fever, cough, difficulty in breathing. Some people may present with loss of smell as the only symptom of COVID. So people should keep having a high index of suspicion when they feel unwell. They should go to the hospitals for medical checkup so they can be diagnosed and treated effectively. COVID, we know, is not a death sentence. People could have mild symptoms, moderate to very severe and life-threatening symptoms requiring ICU care. So what we need to do now is to go back to our drawing board. Let's think about where have we missed it. Because we were doing fine at the time, we were having low cases daily because we kept doing the hand washing thing and social distancing and use of hand sanitizers. But when you go to schools today, they no longer do that. They just hold the face masks for holding sake. They no longer use it. They don't wash their hands. The hand sanitizers in their school bags. So this is where we are missing it. We need to go back to doing the needful, so that we can have a reduction in the incidence of COVID-19 cases we are having now.
At this point, how critical is the issue of contact tracing in mitigating the wave of infections from further escalating?
Contact tracing is a very important thing when we're talking about COVID-19 pandemic, because if you don't trace the contacts, you may have a lot of people walking up and down that's come in contact with those with COVID-19 and they are infected. So at the end of the day, they keep spreading the virus from one person to the other, and we keep having high incidence of the COVID-19 virus. So contact tracing is very, very important. But I notice a lot of people now, even when they have the symptoms, they don't want to go to the hospital because their fear is that they will be kept in isolation centers, that's where their parents or their relations won't be able to come and visit them as they think. So they no longer want to come out when they have such symptoms. So they just keep it to themselves and keep walking about, mixing, go to malls, churches, go to gatherings, and keep spreading the virus. So a lot has to be done when we're talking about combating this hydra-headed pandemic, COVID-19. So we need to do a lot. We need to make it mandatory. Let everyone know that we are responsible for our health. Every citizen should know that I need to be alive. I need to be healthy. I need to do all I need to do not to spread this virus and to make sure I don't even come in contact with this virus.
Dr. Safia Ouda-Ojo, a consultant family physician, would like to thank you for your expert view on Nationwide today.
Thanks for having me.
Still on COVID-related stories, frontline health workers have continued to receive commendations and accolades for dedication and sacrifice for public good as hope rises over the anticipated arrival of COVID-19 vaccines to Nigeria. The University of Abuja Teaching Hospital is the latest to honor and recognize dedicated staff at its treatment and isolation center. They include doctors, nurses, laboratory scientists and their attendants, hygiene staff, cleaners and ambulance drivers were also rewarded for diligently carrying out their lives-saving services.
Because it is said that to whom much is given, much is expected. Please do more. You are now a role model in this institution. that people will be pointing that these people are those who work hard. And we'll continue to appreciate you.
University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada, Abuja, which has now become the center of excellence for infectious disease. Join us as we celebrate the heroes and patrons of the year 2020.
University of Abuja Teaching Hospital recorded its first coronavirus case a month after the infection broke out in Nigeria in February this year. It has so far managed 313 cases, discharged 294 cases, representing 92% with 19 mortalities. Time now to go for a break on Nationwide. We'll be back with more stories. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and Nationwide continues from Maiduguri, where Abubakar will tell us more reports from his zone. Hello, Abubakar.
Hello, Ayodeji, and thanks for joining us. National Council of Traditional Rulers has condemned the bloodshed happening across the country. This was during a solidarity visit to government and people of Borno State by the National Council delegation led by its chairman, Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar, over the murder of rice farmers in the state. Memuna Garba has the rest of the story.
The high-powered delegation of the National Council of Traditional Leaders, comprising royal fathers from the 6 geopolitical zones, was in Borno not to only condole, but also to issue a strong statement on the need to rise up to the occasion of ending shedding innocent blood across the country.
Whatever happened to you happened to us, and we call on all of us as usual. Let no relent in constantly offering prayers to Almighty Allah for Him to intercede on our behalf.
The royal fathers, who called on Nigerians to intensify prayers, also acknowledged efforts of Governor Zulum and further assured him of the support of Council of Traditional Leaders at all times. Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbe El-Kenemi, stressed that the atrocities perpetrated by the insurgent is un-Islamic, as no religion allows the criminality meted out to the people in the decade-long crisis.
None of the holy books, either in the Quran or the Bible, where I say you kill one another, burn people's property, destroy people's property here and there.
Governor Babagana Umara described the visit by traditional leaders as a demonstration of fraternity between Borno and their kingdoms and their commitment to restoration of peace to the northeast as well as the country.
The importance of traditional rulers need not to go by baptize. And therefore, we want to get rid of this insurgency and other problems in the country. We must have to ensure that the traditional rulers are accorded the right position in our national laws.
He assured the traditional institution that they are ever ready to act on recommendations of the National Council of Traditional Leaders on the way forward. The delegation of the National Council of Traditional Leaders had earlier visited the Shehu's Palace for a similar purpose. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And to some humanitarian matters now, as part of federal government's sustained commitment towards ensuring provision of sufficient food items to victims of crisis in the northeast region and the country in general, 4,800 internally displaced persons taking refuge at Farm Center Camp in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, have received foodstuff as well as condiments from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Here are more details of the story. It is the usual monthly food distribution exercise being carried out by the National Emergency Management Agency. But what makes this particular one unique is that it is just few days to the Christmas and New Year celebrations.
Abinci kan muna samu alhamdulillah mun gode musu. Allah ya samu kan musu alheri.
Mun gode mishi sosai. Abin da take mana da yaran mu. Daga zuwan shi yara duka murna suke mishi. Daga guduwa suke fita suna ta ifu. Za su ce ga nema ya zo
mutane sama da nema din ko wanda suka zo suna raba mana mun gode musu.
Each household at Farm Center IDP camp is expected to get 54.6 kilograms of food items and condiments.
So far so good. From January to date, we don't have any problem. This is the last month, and from this distribution, I think today we are going for the 4th camp. So any moment before 24th of this month, before Xmas, we will be able to finish the month of December.
About 28,800 internally displaced persons, who are mostly from the northern part of Borno, are taking refuge at Farm Center Camp. And those are the latest stories. For now, from Maiduguri, let us at this point return to Ayodeji in Abuja for the last segment of Nationwide. So, Ayodeji.
Because we appreciate your contribution. Now, let's talk sports. 2020 Anti-Corruption Marathon moved to 2021. Details and more on Sports Update with Kene Ima Agbodike.
Due to the latest upsurge in COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 National Anti-Corruption Marathon race, which was initially scheduled for December 19, has been postponed till early next year. Organizers say the postponement becomes necessary in order to ensure that the race is conducted with utmost consideration of the health risks which the participants will be exposed to.
We don't need to compound the problem by gathering people without following the due precaution, taking the due precaution measure on COVID-19.
Team NTA on Thursday qualified for the men's singles tennis quarterfinals at the ongoing 39th Federation of Public Service Games FEBSGAR in Kano after Chukwunaso Nwabeze beat Al Mustafa of Raw Materials and Development Council 4-love in straight sets in round 2.
Everybody's in the right frame of mind to give in his or her best.
Nigeria's and Africa's best table tennis player Aruna Quadri has donated equipment worth about 750,000 naira to two Nigerian Paralympians, Esau Ogunkule and Faith Obazwe, to assist them in their preparations towards next year's games in Tokyo. The Rio Olympics quarter-finalist said the gesture is born out of his resolve to assist the Paralympians, who have been making the country proud despite their challenges. In the meantime, in its effort to support sport at the local level, Advocates for Grassroots Sport Foundation has donated table tennis bats, balls and other equipment to some selected schools in Lagos State. While donating the equipment to Anglican Primary School Esawor in Ikorodu, Bob Olukoya, on behalf of the foundation, said the gesture is to assist government in the area of sports development as well as help in discovering talent among the pupils. Kenen Ima Aborike, NTA News.
Sports runs off nationwide on the NTA. I'm Ayodeji Makinde.